Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central. In this week's episode, we're talking about the signs of boredom and why when you're actually not doing anything, it might actually be exactly what you need to do. I know this sounds super crazy, and if it's something that you're interested in, like always, you should continue listening, or if you just want to support. And yeah, let's get into this week's episode. Hey guys, it's Mia. I know we took last week off. I was just coming back from camp and everything was a little bit crazy and hectic, so unfortunately I did not have time to record an episode and edit it for you guys, but we are back and we are better than ever. I hope everyone has been doing well. I started school on Wednesday. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like not everyone I know is at that school level yet, and they might be starting school in September, which I know a lot of my friends are doing. So I feel like right now is kind of the perfect time to talk about boredom, because I think these last couple weeks you either are having the best time of your life or you're kind of bored and you realize that maybe you want to go back to school or maybe you want to start learning again. I think we have to think about the last time that we were really bored. I think during summer, there could be certain times where you are bored or you're just like, oh my god, like I have nothing to do, like all my friends are busy or traveling. So today's episode, we're going to dive a lot into boredom, why it exists, and kind of what it does to our brains and how it can actually be beneficial to us instead of harmful, which I feel like a lot of people think that it could be. So, okay, what is boredom? You know, I feel like we have a lot of different theories about what it could be. At least the simple definition for boredom in psychology is a state of understimulation. Basically, it means how because there's nothing around you that's really interesting, your brain doesn't have enough stimulation in it. And it basically is how the brain's default mode network actually activates when it's kind of not engaged in any tasks. And humans can feel weird to feel discomfort when they're bored, but it can actually push towards action. Basically, it's like if you're bored, you're going to want to do something more because there's no stimulation, and we're just wired to feel discomfort when we're bored. It's unfortunate, but it basically allows you to tell your brain to do something. So that's stimulation in itself. So, how is boredom affecting our teen lives? Well, I think the constant access to the phone or tablet or iPad or TV or whatever and entertainment can make boredom harder to tolerate because it's always available to you. So when you're, for example, if you're camping in the middle of the woods and you have no internet service, no electronics, whatever, boredom can hit you a lot harder because you're so used to just picking up a device and doing whatever to cure that boredom. So if you are, I'm going to set up an example. So if you're sitting in a classroom and you're waiting for a friend to text you back, you're actually you're zoning out at school, and you are kind of not 100% engaged in the topic, even though there is kind of a stimuli. For example, if you hate school, you don't even want to listen, right? So that's one stimuli that's kind of gone. And then if your friend is not texting you back, that's another stimuli that's gone. So now you're just kind of there, and there's nothing else that you can do to potentially stimulate yourself. So then that wiring of discomfort comes back in, and now you're bored, and you can feel uncomfortable. I think there's also the pressure to always be productive or quote-unquote doing something fun, which obviously you don't have to be doing that. Like, I think having fun is super, super important. I like to have fun. I love hanging out with my friends and whatever. But also, there has to be times where you can just sit alone in your room and meditate, or, I don't know, just be with yourself. And I think because people don't do that, they can experience discomfort with being quote-unquote bored because you're not used to kind of putting your body in that state. Because it's really important to take time for yourself, but also doing something fun is fun. And obviously social media makes it seem like you have to be going out and partying and hanging out with friends and whatever every single day, which is just, for most people, pretty unrealistic with high school and just doing school in general. So what is the benefit of boredom? Because obviously I'm telling you to just go sit in your room, so what are you going to do with this time that you have? Well, Here are some things that I think that boredom can actually help with from my personal experience. The first one is a creativity boost. Sometimes just sitting allows me space to imagine and problem solve certain problems that I could have been having in my head. Either that's by writing it down or just having a clear headspace and just like being able to see my brain for the first time without any distractions. For example, if I was stuck on a math problem, sometimes if I'm just sitting in my room and I'm just like staring at my wall, the answer doesn't come to me, but it definitely, there's something that's kind of there to help kickstart it. Or if you are trying to do an art project, sometimes you can come up with the coolest art projects when you're just sitting alone in your room. Next one, obviously we talk about this a lot, self-reflection. It just gives you time to notice your thoughts and feelings and kind of, okay, like I'm feeling this way, what can I do? Or how do I preserve this feeling as long as possible because I feel really, really good right now? Next one is just motivation. Obviously, boredom often pushes you to try something new or do something that you've been putting off. For example, yesterday I was really bored in my room and I was just sitting there and I decided to clean my whole closet. Obviously, that's not something that you just want to do on a whim, but because I was just kind of sitting there, it pushed me to do something that I don't usually do, which was really nice. And I got my closet all cleaned out and ready for the school year because obviously I can't wear what I wear during the summer to school, unfortunately. And the last one is emotional regulation. I think it just also practices patience and stillness, which I feel like is something that not a lot of teenagers unfortunately have these days, just with the generation, like I said, of social media and stuff. We're so used to just quick scrolling and kind of getting our stimulation either from the phone or friends. So it just kind of allows you to sit and be with your thoughts, which kind of ties into self-reflection. Here are the downsides of boredom. Obviously, with everything, there's ups and downs. With boredom, you can have too much of it and it can lead to restlessness, irritability, or risky decisions. So you kind of have to make sure that you can have a good balance of it in your life, which I feel like I do. It can also highlight the importance of balance, but moderate boredom can definitely help, but chronic boredom can be harmful. So if you are always sitting in your room alone and just not touching any electronics or anything or not having any connection with the outside world, then it could lead to potential anxiety or just like kind of not knowing how to talk to other people. So we definitely have to figure out what is the point of boredom that is good for me and what is bad. And it really depends per person. For me, I think it's about 30 to 45 minutes where I can just like sit in my room alone and then I have to go talk to someone because I can't do that for that much longer. But some of my friends can do it for longer and they still have a good balance. So here are some things that you can try to kind of, try this little boredom thing out. First is a boredom walk. Just go outside without your phone and just notice your surroundings. For example, I know some people on TikTok say like, go on a walk and then look for things of a certain color or a certain whatever. And that really helps and it makes the quote unquote boredom walk go faster. Or I just say go on a walk, like go out in nature. I think it's so cool and nature has so many things to offer. Next is a daydream journal. Just write where your mind goes when you're bored and maybe that can help you create a new creative thought. Or you say, oh, I'm always thinking about this. Let me actually try it. For example, I used to always think about like colleges or, what I can do for colleges, which I know is like not the coolest thing. But then obviously I started and I actually like made a plan to do it. And then, you can kind of actually make something out of your daydream journal. And next is nothing time. I really like this one. You just set aside 10 minutes with no distractions. That is usually me either in the morning before I go to the gym. I just stare at my ceiling for 10 minutes. Or, after I come back from school, it's like, oh my God, I had such a hard day. Let me just sit 10 minutes and then I log back in. And then last one, I know not everyone loves this, but a digital detox. Intentionally skip checking your phone. I know that is so hard. Some people put their jail in phone jail. I have screen time sometimes that I set myself because I just don't like to always be on my phone. I think those are really important and those are just what helped me. But if you find something that helps you for your boredom, definitely leave them down below and I can share them, or if they're, you can comment them on our Instagram post or whatever. The key message I want to take away from this is that boredom isn't just emptiness, but it's kind of a space for you to think and be creative. And I want you guys to see boredom as a tool and not really a problem. So definitely try it out. If it works for you, I think it's amazing. And if it doesn't quite work for you, maybe try to change and adjust a little bit. Because I think it is really important to just sit and reflect and be with yourself. So if you guys try one of these boredom experiments this week and tell me how it went on Instagram at Teen Talk Central, or you can leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening on. And I love you guys so much. Always, have a good mindset and talk to people with an open heart. I think that's really important. I know it's not 100% boredom related, but as we just go back into school, just always treat people with kindness and love. And if you guys have any episode requests, always let us know on our Instagram or whatever. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in another amazing episode of Teen Talk Central next week. Bye.